storm, Katrina, did minimal damages to my house, and I thank God for this. Most of my family have lost everything. Point LaHache is about 55 miles below New Orleans, past Chalmette and St. Bernard Parish.
That area was completely wiped out. Not a house left standing.
It's just unbelievable what is there. This is where I'm from. I'm from Point LaHache. I'm from Davant, and my family home is just, you can't even recognize it if it wasn't for the steps. So everything is, it must have been many, many tornadoes, because homes was moved like 3 miles, like maybe up the road, like maybe 2 miles down the road. So it was just massive.
The kids were clueless, but my niece, watching my father, watching my sister-in-law, watching my cousins, just looking at them and seeing how hurt they were, everything that they'd worked for just gone.
My house has been underwater for about between 30 and 45 days. Everything has been soaked, and since the storm hit, I've had a condition come on where I cannot do any physical work, so I can't touch my house now.
I went back to New Orleans with my dad, and when we passed my house, the whole front of the house was messed up, was gone, piled up in trash, and the back of it was hardly standing. I saw one house where the whole house was gone except for the door frame and the doorstep, where there was big piles of trash everywhere. Some houses was all in the street.
It was pretty hard watching, you know, the home that I grew up in, gone. Looking at my family graveyard, wondering if it'll still exist after the water leaves.
People are just dying. People are dying. People are dropping dead.
It says it's right here.
People are actually dropping dead. I know 2 people who came home from various places to check their homes out and was so upset that one died, had a heart attack, another one had a stroke and he died in the hospital. Lots of people are sick because of it. It's just unbelievable. They're still, I think they're still finding dead bodies.
They say on the news, they say every time like they start to like tear the house down to rebuild, they find the dead bodies in the house.
Yep.
And they said they had all kind of animals just lying everywhere.
Yeah.
Katrina, actually, you know, some people lost their life, but most of the people lost their lives. And what I mean by that is that their way of living. You know, I'm one of those people. You know, people lost their way of living. Their everyday life is now turned upside down, and for most people that's painful, man. That's a painful thing to deal with.
And I refuse to give up, so I'm still putting up lights. I'm still putting up my decorations, and I plan on having a big dinner right here. My yard is still not what it's supposed to be. My house is not what it's supposed to be, like it usually is, but I will not give up.
I hope that the culture returns, and then the city will be bigger and better than what it was before. But if the people don't return, if we let our spirits get crushed by this, the culture's gone, and that is what makes New Orleans, the culture.
Right now it's sad. It's just sad because everybody's gone. The actual storm was, the storm wasn't bad. It was the flooding.
I go home, it don't really feel like home because most of my immediate family doesn't live in New Orleans. My son doesn't live in New Orleans. And I have some family left. But when I go home, it's not like I'm not going to a home. It remains to be seen how Katrina has affected America. Because what happened in New Orleans 2 years ago didn't only affect the people of New Orleans, it has a ripple effect on this whole country. Politically, financially, socially, culturally, every aspect that you can think of us as Americans, whether you were there, you got family or not, you know, that will be a defining moment in the history of this country, just like September 11th was other important dates. So it remains to be seen how it impacts, because it's still playing the same fight. You know, it's kind of like Vietnam, when people went to Vietnam 30 years ago and they're still suffering the repercussions of, you know, that time, that situation, whatever. So that's how deep this is.